Welcome back to Cure of the Common Game. Today, in deck number 681, we're going to talk about Aegar. Aegar. Aegar, the Freezing Flame. Now, for 3 mana, we get a 3/3 Giant Wizard. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if a giant wizard or spell you control dealt damage to it, you get to draw a card. Now, that line of text is absolutely enthralling to me. But to be honest with you, beyond Blasphemous Act and probably a few other cards that I couldn't get my hands on at the time, I couldn't exactly take advantage of it. Now, if I had like that triple damage card, that'd have been pretty sweet. But what I latched onto was the blue-red giants. So this is my second tribal giant deck. If you'll remember way back, Brian Stoutarm. The red-white is the tribal giants from way back. That was in 2 digits. It was in the first 100 decks. So that's where I went. Now, giants typically are not cheap. Our 3-mana commander is one of the cheapest there is. So that being said, we're going to go through the mana rocks here, our ramp, as it were. We have a Soul Ring, Fire Diamond, Sky Diamond, Spectral Searchlight, Commander Sphere, Worn Power Stone, Pristine Talisman, Sisay's Ring, the trio of Izzet rocks, the Izzet Cluestone, Key Rune, Locket, Pyretic Ritual, because why not? And then the Stink Drinker Daredevil. That just makes your giant spells cost 2 less. And on the surface, that may not think that that's doing much with your commander, but, sure helps with that commander tax if it dies. So let's look at our actual giants. Now that we can cast them, one of my favorite is Hamlet Bat Goliath, because this counts every single creature that enters the battlefield. It's not a cast trigger. It's not just you. Every creature anybody gets, this thing gets bigger. It's outstanding. Borderland Behemoth, +4/+4 for each other giant you control. That's pretty good. Let's see, what's the other old giant here? We've got the Giant Harbinger. Go and tutor up that giant that you need. And then the assorted Kaldheim new giants, Surtland Elementalist, Surtland Flinger, Sage of the Beyond, Cyclone Summoner, Basalt Ravager, Cinderheart Giant, Quakebringer, Calamity Bear, beautiful card, Doomscar Titan. And speaking of Titans, the little fact about the Titans from the M series, Primetime and all them, we forget they're giants. But all 5 of them are indeed giants, so that's why I have the Frost Titan and the Inferno Titan in there. I do have a Thundercloud Shaman, which probably should be in the removal category, but it's a giant that deals damage to non-giants. And then, of course, we have the Amoeboid Changeling. I don't know why. It's a cheap giant, maybe. But then that led me into what I'm going to call giant adjacent cards. Giant's Ire, if you control a giant. Squash. This costs 2 mana to deal 6 damage to a creature or walker if you control a giant. There's a good chance we're gonna. Invasion of the Giants. I mean, we had to put it in there, right? Battle of Frost and Fire. There again, non-giant creatures. Giant's Grasp. I feel like this is the deck that R&D wanted us to build. And then the Fire Giant's Fury. Now, I do have a little bit of, just a little bit of card draw. Ponder, Brainstorm, and Windfall. Because they're good, I love that rich is a relative term. But then I got to thinking, blue. We're in red-blue giants, which is kind of unexplored territory. And I was like, Wonder's not a giant, but it's a good card. And Flying Giants? I can get behind Flying Giants. So I included Levitation as well for 2 chances at the Flying Giants. Other things here that I guess don't really have a category. Clone, because it's the best creature on the board, most of the time. Dual Caster Mage is a good solid card. Now, Jay is Immolating Inferno. The reason why I love this, and its inclusion here, is in Magical Christmas Land, Living the Dream, up to 3 targets is your 3 opponents. As you saw, there is a whole lot of ramp in the deck. So, maybe late game when the life totals are low, maybe you can just pop it off and kill the table. Clout of the Dominus. 1 mana Shroud Giver. That's that's where it is. Yeah, you put it on your commander. It's +2. It's Shroud. It's haste. It's but Shroud is the reason why we're playing this card. Mizium's Transreliquat. What is it? What do you want it to be? Yeah, I love it. It is literally whatever you want it to be. There are many artifacts that get played that I'd like a copy of. Is it just me, or is anybody else hoping the Akromis Memorial comes down? And then the Reflections of Littjara. Choose a creature type. We're choosing giants, of course. Whenever you cast a spell the chosen type, copy that spell. So we're getting double giants. I love it. Now, for our removal, we have got... Let's go through the counter magic first, shall we? We have Mana Leak, Negate, Extinguish, Annul, Ionize, Suffocating Blast. It is quite literally a blast from the past. I love the card. We don't get a chance to play it that much. It is a counter spell and a lightning bolt stuck together. And one would argue that it's 1 colorless mana too much for that, but those are both outstanding spells that are probably undercosted anyway, right? So then we have some just good old-fashioned, removal. Pyroclasm, sweep out all those little things. Incinerate, Comet Storm, like I said there, the X-Spell thing, and it's a multi-kicker, so you can hit multiple targets out of it. A couple of vows, the Vow of Lightning, the Vow of Flight. Aetherize is a card that just not a lot of people see coming, and you want to talk about tempo. If somebody does swing out, this is a great card. Curse of the Swine. You don't see many blue cards that say exile X target creatures, right? And then Sleep, because that's another one that's just about 4 mana target player loses the game. So then we have our non-basic lands. You had to know the Terramorphic and the Evolving Wilds were going to be in there. The Command Tower, Riverglide Pathway, Highland Lake, Swiftwater Cliffs. Is it Boilerworks? Is it Guildgate? Volatile Fjord. Oh, get back here, Guildgate. You don't want to be in there. Halimar Depths, Vivid Creek, and the Cycling Desert of the Mindful. So that is Aegar. Yeah, the excess damage thing, I was super excited on, and I was locked in about just building that aspect of it. And I couldn't get past more than a couple cards, and I was like, oh. So that's what I did. So we will go put 681 on the wall. Start us a new row. 681. And I do appreciate everybody watching, and woke up this morning to 5,000 subscribers, so thank y'all. I know that y'all are seeing this a week later, but I want to thank y'all so much for the 5,000 subscribers. It means a lot. Thank y'all very much. But right now, we're going to shuffle and cut.